When the Indiana Fever introduced Stephanie White as their new head coach back in November 2024, the moment felt like the beginning of a new era. Everything aligned so perfectly it was almost cinematic. Indiana had the most electrifying young superstar the sport had seen in a generation, a coach with deep local roots and the credibility that comes from being named Coach of the Year, and a roster finally balanced enough to dream big. That combination created a wave of excitement that swept across Indianapolis. Fans didn't just hope for success. They expected it. The franchise that had struggled for relevance was suddenly at the center of women's basketball, and the blueprint looked simple and brilliant. But the reality that unfolded over the next several months became a harsh reminder that even the most promising plans can unravel in a heartbeat. Stephanie White entered the job with history behind her, but pressure wrapped around every move she made. She wasn't just any coach returning home. She was an Indiana native, a Purdue star, and a woman who had already worn the Fever logo on the sidelines nearly a decade earlier. Her return wasn't just a professional decision, it was personal, a homecoming wrapped in the promise of redemption. But before she could even fully step into her new role, controversy erupted. Reports leaked that she had been hired before the team even fired Christie Sides. Fans raised eyebrows, journalists questioned the professionalism of the process, and a cloud of confusion hovered over what should have been a triumphant announcement. It didn't matter that White was qualified or beloved. The way the organization handled the transition left many feeling unsettled. Still, most fans agreed she was a better fit, and once the dust settled, the city embraced her return. Expectations grew louder, and the pressure to turn Clark's brilliance into a championship machine only intensified. The Fever entered the 2025 season with real confidence. Caitlin Clark looked ready to build on her historic rookie year. White's offensive system appeared structured, balanced, and tailor-made for Clark's vision and range. The team was finally learning how to move without the ball, how to space the floor properly, how to use Clark's playmaking as the foundation for something bigger. For 13 games, Indiana looked like a team rising right on schedule. Clark racked up assists, broke defensive schemes, and knocked down shots from angles that defied physics. White wasn't just coaching her. She was mentoring her. She pulled her aside during slumps, corrected turnovers, praised effort, and demanded accountability. Those early months felt like the start of a partnership that could define a decade. Then the moment that changed everything arrived. A groin injury sidelined Clark for the remainder of the season after just 13 games, and suddenly the Fever were left without the engine that powered every possession. White found herself facing the nightmare every coach dreads. How do you keep a team functioning when the system is built around a star who can no longer step onto the court? How do you motivate a roster built to complement a player who isn't there? Under the weight of those questions, Indiana's structure began to collapse. Without Clark's gravity pulling defenders out of position, without her movement creating lanes, without her vision predicting openings before they appeared, the Fever offense stalled. The team struggled to generate clean looks. The confidence that once flowed so naturally began to dry up. White made the responsible decision to shut Clark down for the season. It was the right call medically and morally, but it left the team searching for its identity. Indiana limped through the rest of the regular season, finishing 24-20. On paper, that outcome wasn't terrible. But context always tells the real story. This was supposed to be the season Indiana announced itself as a contender. Instead, they played like a team that was constantly trying to hold itself together with tape and hope. Even making it to the semifinals wasn't enough to erase the disappointment. The Fever fought hard against the Aces, pushed the series to 5 games, and left everything on the floor. But instead of celebration, frustration became the dominant emotion. A season that had started with championship dreams ended with lingering questions and uncomfortable conversations. Those conversations turned ugly in August when the Fever dropped 4 out of 5 games. Social media turned violent in its criticism. Fans accused White of mismanaging rotations, failing to adjust, mishandling substitutions, and squandering momentum. They called for her firing, blamed her for collapses in crucial moments, and pointed to players like Lexi Hull as examples of poor decision-making. Whether the criticisms were fair or based on frustration didn't matter. Once the narrative forms that a coach is in over her head, it sticks. The pressure intensified, and for the first time, White's future looked uncertain. Yet it is impossible to evaluate the season without addressing the reality everyone knows but many ignore. The Fever were built around Caitlin Clark. Her absence wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a structural collapse. Clark is one of those rare players whose presence transforms every inch of the court. Her shooting stretches defenses, her passing creates opportunities out of nothing, and her command dictates the rhythm of the game. Remove a player like that from a team designed to run through her, and everything becomes a struggle. White wasn't coaching the team she was hired to coach. She was coaching fragments of a plan that had lost its centerpiece. But sports don't make room for nuance when emotions run high. Fans want results, not explanations. And so, speculation began to swirl. Names of potential replacements circulated online, most notably the legendary Cheryl Miller. Fans imagined Miller pairing her old-school toughness with Clark's generational talent. They imagined Indiana reclaiming its past glory under one of the most respected basketball minds alive. But all of it was fantasy. Miller hadn't coached in the WNBA since 2000. She had shown no interest in returning. The rumors were nothing more than a reflection of the frustration surrounding White. Despite the noise, the truth remains simple. Stephanie White deserves another season. She deserves the chance to coach Caitlin Clark through a full schedule, to build an offense around her instead of scrambling to survive without her. She deserves the opportunity to show what she can do when the pieces she was promised are actually on the floor. But the window will not stay open forever. If the Fever stumble early in 2026, or if Clark appears frustrated, or if fans continue to lose patience, White's job may be in immediate jeopardy. Coaching Caitlin Clark isn't like coaching anyone else. She brings attention, pressure, expectations, and scrutiny the league has never seen before. A coach who leads her must be ready to stand in the fire with her. Now the question falls to the fans and the franchise. Does Stephanie White deserve another chance with a healthy roster? Or is it time for Indiana to move in a different direction and chase a new voice for the next chapter of Clark's career? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Fever's turbulent season, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a breakdown of the biggest stories in basketball.